Welcome to the call, everybody. Lesson 5 is the second part of lesson 5. We had the first part last week where we had a awesome breakdown, overview over the website bar chart. And we still have lesson 5 to cover. So what we're going to do is make this part 2 of lesson 5. So there'll be 2 parts of lesson 5. So we want to thank Barbara for, even with all the stuff, complications she was having with the computer and everything, she still was able to finally get the video up for us. We just appreciate everything you do, Barbara.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I try my best.
You do a great job. So let's get into it. So I'm going to turn this over to Barbara Warren so we can get going with lesson 5. Over to you.
Yes, sir. So here's our disclaimer for trading, futures and commodities trading group. Trading and investing carries a high level of risk. You could lose some or all of your investment. Trading commodities or any other financial instrument may not be suitable for all investors. Before deciding to trade, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of risk, and level of experience and risk appetite. We accept no liability for any losses or damages you may incur. This means that you alone are responsible for your actions in any trading or investing activities.
Awesome. Well, I normally go to Dr. Melville, but before I do, I just want to ask a question because something that was on my mind. Actually, I got 2 questions. And first question I wanted to ask, just a just wanted to just check to see how we were feeling, how we thinking. Who believes that this is something that they can do?
I do.
So do I.
Yes, sir.
I do.
Yeah, great. Thank y'all for sharing. I wanted to hear that because the confidence of, it's very important to know that you can do this. Believe in yourself that you can do it because you can. And you guys are doing a great job with the quizzes and questions and comments and stuff. And I'm just loving the energy going, on this series going around. Because I see how serious, that y'all are taking this. And like we said, everybody's journey is different. We can take this serious, or we can, it could be a hobby, and that's totally up to you. But I see it, and I might see a little bit more from some people, but I think it's overall with everybody. But I definitely see the seriousness from Lucky and the seriousness from Ezra and Jamal, but from everybody. But I see them because they out front, and that's what it takes. When it comes to this, you have to make up your mind once you realize or come to a point of saying this is something I want to do. That's what it takes. That's what it took for me anyway. Let me say it that way. And matter of fact, I hope it's all right if I share this, Lucky. If it's not, man, I want you to let me know. But I know this man got some willpower and some determination when he make up his mind to do something. Because I watched him go through a transformation. He lost a lot of weight recently, and looks great. Looked great before, but just looks even better. He may have a little more benefit with the fact that he had a amazing wife that had experience when it comes to training and personal training. But I knew if he got involved with learning and took this serious, I knew it would be something that he would, excel at because he had that kind of determination, man. I hope it's all right with me sharing that, Lucky. But
An open book. I lost 80 pounds this year.
Oh
I'm
man.
Yes, man.
sitting at 174 pounds today
Wow.
from 260 or wherever I was.
Amazing.
Yeah. And you know, when GSP shut down, being broke helps too.
That's awesome, man. Appreciate that. Okay. And then the other question I wanted to ask before we got going, because Barbara reminded me of something. I hope y'all don't mind me going back to the movie real quick. But Barbara reminded me of something when she was doing the contract specification. And I meant to ask you all, in the movie, when um when the wedding was taking place and there was the delivery of soybeans delivered to the house, who can tell me why was the soybeans delivered? I know Barbara went over the contract specs last week, but why did they deliver soybeans to the house? Why did Nike come pulling up with the soybeans? Anybody can tell me?
She didn't have a stop loss. She didn't get out of the trade
Say that again, Paula?
because she didn't get out of the trade.
Yeah, she still had a contract that she didn't get out of, right? And like Barbara said, we don't have to be concerned about having no grains or nothing delivered to us. That was more for the entertainment of the movie because when we trade these contracts, we won't still be in the trade when it's time for expiration. Trust me, you'll be out of the trade. And if you're not, your brokerage house is going to get in touch with you to make sure you're aware that expiration is getting, you're getting near to expiration. But the reason she had the delivery is because she still had a contract, still had a position that wasn't liquidated. And they had the delivery of the beans to kind of show if you don't get out of the trade before expiration, you take delivery. And that's what that was about. But all right, Dr. Melba, are you ready for me? I know I've been had you on hold.
I am ready.
Over to you.
All righty. So the first quiz. If you are looking for details about a futures contract regarding a particular commodity trading in the futures market, you would look for A, the news, B, reports, C, contract specifications, D, videos, E, not sure, F, none of the above, G, all of the above. Ezra says C, contract specifications.
I agree.
And Lucky says he agrees. Does anybody disagree?
No, I say C.
Okay, you think the same, Jamal?
Yes, ma'am.
Lorenzo agrees also. Okay, then C it is. You would look up the contract specifications. Yay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good job, everyone. And the next quiz question is, some groupings in the futures market trade in the day and evening sessions. Is that true or false, or you're not sure?
True.
So Jamal says true. Do we agree with Jamal? Lucky says true. Natural Sister says agree. Lorenzo agrees. Okay. Yes, we do have day and evening sessions. And that sets us apart from the stock market because all the stock market has is day sessions. Don't you forget it, y'all. We won up.
We got the best market.
All right, the next question. The answer was there in front of me all along. I know there's another one. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Awesome. When trading commodities in the futures market, we are able to trade the following. A, Starbucks, B, Gold, C, McDonald's, D, Nabisco, E, Cotton, F, Kellogg's, G, not sure, H, all of the above, I, none of the above. B and E, which is Gold and Cotton. Lorenzo says Gold. Okay,
I didn't hear.
anybody else?
I didn't hear the question.
Read the list again, please.
The question, when trading commodities in the futures market, we are able to trade the following. Okay. A, Starbucks. B, Gold. C, McDonald's. D, Nabisco. E, Cotton. F, Kellogg's. G, not sure. H, all of the above. I, none of the above. Okay, Monique says B and E, Gold and Cotton. I saw someone else with Gold and Cotton.
I say cotton, gold, they're both commodities, so yeah, both.
Yep. Okay. Uh, yes, Gold and Cotton. Oh, there we go. Yep, Gold and Cotton. Because they're both, yes, they're both commodities. All the others were corporations, Starbucks, McDonald's, Nabisco, Kellogg's. You can trade them, but you would have to trade them on the stock market. You wouldn't be able to trade them on the commodities market. Okay? And that is it.
Great job. Great job. Okay. Lesson 5, part 2. We said charts are going to be our main focus the rest of the way. And we make decisions from the charts. So we want to learn how to read these charts. And lesson 5, we're going to get into some more training on charts. We have some assignment, right, Barbara?
Yes, sir.
We're supposed to do something.
Yes, everybody's supposed to set up a free barchart.com account. And if you don't have a broker, start looking at the broker that you want to get. Or if you got a broker since last week, tell us the broker that you got. So who was on the call last week and they now have a barchart.com account and they didn't have one last week.
Yeah, I got one.
All right, Mr. Jamal, you did your homework. Good. Thank you, sir.
How long did it take you to register for your free account?
It didn't take no time. You just put your email in there and your password, and that's it. And then
That's
if you
it.
want to do paid, you could go the paid route or do the free route. Yeah, that was
A
it.
couple of minutes, right?
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
Awesome.
So Lucky
Yeah.
says he has his bar chart account. Ezra raised his hand and says he has his bar chart account.
All right.
Yes.
Good. How about a broker?
Remember, what's the significance of having an account versus not having an account at all?
Well, as far as having a bar chart account, everything that we teach you on this platform on a Sunday night, you can't apply it without a bar chart account. Because everything that we teach you from a bar chart account. And so in order for you to practice and get really good at trading to the point where you can start trading live, then you need a bar chart account. It's to your best interest.
So if you go on bar chart and you go to a particular chart and you start doing your charting and marking up the chart, but you don't
Oh,
open up a
yeah,
free account. If you
correct.
don't open up a free account, when you leave that site, that chart, basically everything you did on that chart is gonna be gone, right?
Yes, it will. It won't save it. The only way it will save it is if you've put in your username and password and you personally have an account. So no matter what you mark up in that account, once you click out of it and close it, when you go back in the next day or the next couple of hours, everything that you place on those charts will be there waiting for you, and you will be able to look at them, and you won't have to keep redoing your charts every single time you go in the bar chart.
Mhm.
After a while, that gets real old, y'all.
Which
Yeah.
simply put, it'll be hard for you to do homework if you don't have one. Yeah.
Yeah. That make
Correct.
things a lot harder for you. So I know we said it was something about also broker too, right, Barbara?
Yes, who has a broker or who's looked into getting a broker? Because you can't trade in the futures and commodities without one. Got to have a broker.
Not got one yet, but I'm on it.
Okay. Thank you,
So,
sir.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And you wanna basically you wanna be in charge. So you qualify and you decide who you want to go with, you know. If you call up some of the brokers and you talk to them and fill them out, see who willing to help you, and and which ones you like, which ones you don't like. And most important thing is you want to make sure you're able to get an account with them. So, uh, what I mean is make sure they service the area that you live in. Uh, and Like I said, when I first went and opened my account, I went through the phone book and just I spent days calling people until I found the one that was the right fit for me. And I opened up my account, and then I started working on getting the money to fund the account. And I was actually still paper trading. I just started paper trading actually, and got that account funded finally with the minimum that it needed to have. So, and it was there waiting while I was paper trading. So the most important thing is to make sure you happy with the brokers you go with. Make sure you don't have to just go with any broker, but make sure it's the one you like and you like the service you're getting. And Barbara, we have a list in the group, right?
Yes, sir, we do.
That's what I was getting ready to ask.
I'll repost it before the night is over with.
Right. We definitely want to get that before we get into um, further down the road when we get into talking about what's called paper trading. Okay, so make sure you, when you get time, try to look into getting your brokerage account. All right. Excuse me. Okay, Barbara, what we got this week?
Okay, support and resistance levels.
Very important, right? Support and resistance is so important. So that's especially with our style of trade, with our system of trading, because we use the charts, remember, to make our decision. But you're gonna find out later the things we watch for on the chart are all about these two things right here, support and resistance. Support and resistance is very key to the system and the style or way we trade. So I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. Melville, and Dr. Melville, uh, if you need me, I'll be right here.
All righty. So what are support and resistance levels? And so that's one of the things like Mr. Wright said, Delvin said, that these are really important levels on the chart. And it's one of the things that with your bar chart .com account, you're able to open different commodities, and you're able to look at the charts, and you're able to train your eyes to see what are called support and resistance levels. Because everything that we look at on the charts is all we're looking at as price changing. So prices will go up, prices will go down, they'll go up and go down. And so constantly when they're going up and down, they're coming to different levels of what are called resistance or coming to levels what are called support. So when you look at support, another word that we use for support is called the floor. Okay, so you're thinking about you're going to sit in a chair, all right? And that chair is going to support your weight. It's going to support your body when you sit in that chair. And so the chair that you sit in is going to have to be sturdy enough to hold your weight or your body size. And so we consider that to be support. So when we look now at resistance, okay, we're looking at what is stopping the market from going any higher. What's resisting? What's the ceiling for the market price at the time? And so that area is called resistance, or another term for resistance is called the ceiling, meaning this is as high as the market will allow itself to go at this time. And so therefore it's called resistance. You have to remember in the marketplace, you have buyers and sellers constantly causing price movement. And so when the buyers are in control, then they're going up against the ceiling. Okay, when the sellers are in control, they're going down against the support. And depending who in the marketplace is actually winning with price movement, you'll see the direction of the market going in the direction of the bears if the sellers are winning, or you'll go in the direction of the bull if the buyers are winning and causing price movement to move in the direction of the up direction. Support and resistance areas in a chart gives us the supply and demand interacting with each other, like I just explained with buyers and sellers. So if with any commodity, there's a certain supply that's there, there's a certain demand, and depending on the supply and the demand, that's what's causing the prices to go up and the prices to go down. Just like the other day, you know, the supply and demand for coffee. We saw how prices of coffee shot up because the supply wasn't that great. And so therefore, whatever coffee was in the marketplace, we're paying just astronomical prices for it compared to where coffee would normally sell at. And it just kept going up and up and up and up. And so that's one of the things that you will realize when you start reading the charts. So another thing too, when the charts go in both directions, you'll find at some point your old support will become your new area of resistance, and your old resistance will become your new area of support. And so this will simply, it represents a problem area in the chart, but over time it resolves itself. And sometimes you will notice the chart is indecisive. It doesn't know which direction it wants to go in. And it almost looks like it's quivering in the same spot over and over for days. Sometimes it could do it for months. And so we'll learn what to do in those times when the charts are doing just that. We have different strategies and different techniques that we use that you'll be taught throughout the class. All righty. So what are support and resistance levels? Thanks, Barb. So when you look at this chart, okay, now you see the diagonal green lines. You see two diagonal green lines. And you notice they're going in a down direction, okay?
I'm not
So you
seeing.
see the number, Is someone talking? Lucky?
Yeah, I don't see the chart.
Oh. Is Lucky the only one not seeing the chart?
I can see it.
Okay, can you go out and come back in, Lucky, and we let you back in? So like I was saying, the two green diagonal lines on the chart, you're noticing that's given us the direction of the market, okay? And so right now, the market is going in a down direction or it's bearish. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Now at the top of this chart, there's a little half moon area underneath the one. So there's a half moon underneath the one. And in that half moon area underneath the one, that's telling you that's the highest price in the last, and this is a this is a 6-month chart. So can everyone see that this is a 6-month chart? Can you circle a 6-month for me, please? So this is a 6-month chart. So in the last 6 months, that's the highest price that the market has been for corn, for September 24 corn. And this is the contract. And it's an old contract from in September of last year. But
Dr.
yes,
I'm sorry, I was just curious. The way you all have the lines, is that what the trend lines? That's a downtrend, right?
yes, correct. Can you
Okay.
hold all your questions till the end,
Yes, ma'am.
everyone? Because there's a question
Yes,
and
ma'am.
answer section. Just write everything down and then we can review it at the end for whatever questions you have. But thanks, Jamal. Yes, these two lines, these two green lines. Can you hear me now, Lucky?
Yeah, we're good.
Can you see the green lines?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Very good. Okay. So on this chart, yes, you're going to see a green line on the bottom where you see the number 2s. And then on the top, you see a 1, and then you see number 3s. Okay, and you see a green line connecting all the number 2s, and you see the green line on the top connecting all the number 3s. Okay, so when you look at a chart, they look like zigzag lines all over, okay? But the zigzag lines on the chart, they just simply telling you support and resistance levels that are on the chart. And it's just giving you price movement. So the number 1 area, you can consider that an area of resistance or the ceiling. That's the highest area that the market price has been in the past 6 months on this chart. So the chart progresses down to number 2. And it stops at the number 2 area, the first number 2, and that's an area of support. So it's sitting on the floor of that number 2, and it apparently, the price will not go any lower than that in that time frame. And so it progresses back up to the number 3. And so that's an area of resistance because you're noticing that it won't go any higher than a number 3. So that area is a ceiling area on the chart. Then it goes back down again to another number 2. And that's an area of support, as you notice. The price market will not let it go any lower than that area. And then it progresses back up again to a number 3, which it meets another area of resistance, which is another ceiling. And the chart continues to do this over and over and over. And when you start looking at your barchart.com account and looking at different commodities, you will see the same thing on your chart. So it's not something new each time you look at the chart. You're seeing the same thing over and over. All you're seeing is resistance areas and support areas, resistance levels and support levels constantly on the charts. And you have to pay attention and be able to see these areas. So it comes with looking at your charts over and over. And just like Barbara circled the areas, you can do the same thing on your chart or mark them with 2s and 3s the same way. All you in a downtrend, your supports are number 2s. In a downtrend, your resistance are number 3s. So hopefully you guys are taking really good notes, because when you get to your charts, you want to have really good notes to look at your charts and label them the way that we're labeling our charts, because it makes it easier for you to enter a trade and exit a trade when you're able to see support and resistance levels. We'll go to the next slide. Excellent. So on this slide, there are no trend lines, okay? But you can see that the support and resistance levels are now going in the opposite direction. They're going in an upward direction. And so the number 1 has the same little moon-shaped area right above it. And that number 1 is the lowest. This is a 6-month chart. Yes, it is. It's the lowest that price has been in the past 6 months for this commodity. And this is lean hogs, August 24. Okay. And then from there, it goes up to the number 2. And that's an area of resistance because the market was not able to go any higher than a number 2. It turned and retraced itself. It went down to a number 3. And that's an area of support. Excellent, which is a floor. And it turned and it went up to a number 2 again, which is an area of resistance, which is another ceiling. Turned and went down to a number 3, which is another area of support. And it continues to do this over and over, and like it's climbing a ladder or it's creating stair steps that you can climb up the stairs. So as you can see, the market continues to do this over and over. And as we said, you have to be able to train your eyes by looking at your charts and marking them up. The more you mark up your charts, the quicker your eyes are able to see support and resistance levels. With the different techniques and strategies that we use in this class, you have to train your eyes to see support and resistance levels in order to use the strategies and the techniques. So please start looking at your charts and circling and numbering them. In an uptrend, your resistance is a number 2 and your support is a number 3. I'll say this again. In an uptrend, your resistance is labeled as a number 2 and your support is labeled as a number 3. Okay? So start looking at your charts and start labeling them, identifying your uptrends. And you have to remember what signifies an uptrend. It's, Barbara, can you erase all of the red? An uptrend is signified by higher highs and higher lows. Okay? So when you look at that number 1 that says support, the number 2 is higher than that number 1. Okay? When you look at the number 3, it's lower than the number 2, but it's higher than the number 1. When you look at the next number 2, above that number, the first number 2, it's a higher high than the last number 2. When you look at the second number 3, it's a higher low than the last number 3. And as the chart progresses up, it's making higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. Can we go back to the last chart, please? On this chart, in the downtrend, your support and resistance levels are the opposite. you're making lower lows and lower highs. So this number 2 that Barbara's pointing to is a lower low, okay? And then you go to the next number 2 underneath it, and that's a lower low than your first number 2. Go to the first number 3 below the number 1. That's a lower high because the number 1 is the highest on the chart. So the next level below it is a lower high. And the next level below that 3, the next number 3, is another lower high. So you have to be able to see the number 1 is the high. Then you go down to a number 2, which is a low. And it goes up to the number 3, which is a lower high. Goes down to the number 2, which is a lower low. Goes back up to number 3, which is a lower high. And it keeps doing that all the way down to the very end of the chart. And so all your support and resistance levels are either higher highs and higher lows if you're in an uptrend, or lower lows and lower highs if you're in a downtrend. And please write that in your notes because that's really important when you're starting to look at your charts and starting to mark them up, is to know the difference between an uptrend and a downtrend based upon your resistance and your support levels. Next slide, please. Okay. So the last class that we had on a Thursday night, we decided that it was the next cycle of Thursday night classes would take us into the retreat time. And so we decided to not have the Thursday evening class because it would interfere with the time of the retreat. And most of the people that are on the Thursday night class, we realize are the ones that are coming to the retreat. And so therefore, we will start back up the Thursday evening classes again in the month of May. So we look forward to all of you that are in this class coming out to the Thursday night classes if it meets your scheduling accommodations. And so we'll put the dates as time gets closer when we'll have these classes in the month of May. And Barbara, back to you.
I think everybody know I love to talk about this. But we are close to our retreat time. If you have not registered yet, please register for the retreat. Please register. You don't want to miss this. Don't feel a certain kind of way because this is your first, first time going through the course. You're the person that need to be there the most. We want you there, whether you're new or you have been through several series of lesson 1 through 10. I promise you, there are going to be things that's going to be released at this one that we didn't get last year, that wasn't released the year before. We got a lot of exciting things for you guys in store. This is going to be at the Embassy Suites by Hilton, downtown Phoenix, a beautiful hotel. There's so many great